Today is Tuesday, July 13th, 2021. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, President Joe Biden delivers a speech on voting rights in Philadelphia today. We'll show you what he had to say. A lot of voting rights activists are not impressed. They say, Joe, you got to do a hell of a lot more. House Democrats requested that the Senate make the For the People Act exempt from the filibuster. Also, Texas Governor Greg Abbott says there will be consequences for Texas Democratic leaders who left the state to protect voting rights. We'll talk with two of them who left. In Oklahoma, teachers could face suspension from the State Department of Education for teaching critical race theory. And former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is calling on governors to ban funding for it. But we know what's really going on here. This is nothing more but the right wing trying to drive up white hysteria for the 2022 election. And guess who's funding it? Yep, rich, white, conservative donors. Jury selection began today in the trial of California sexual predator Ed Buck. Plus, you'll be the young man who started a business to introduce young people to science through hands-on learning and fun as part of our new Nextdoor Marketplace series. Plus, social media sensation NaJe is here, along with others who are part of her viral Go Lay Down videos. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now. Martin.
The battle over voting rights continues in the country. Of course, Texas Democrats left the state under the threat of arrest. You also have, of course, President Joe Biden today giving his speech in Philadelphia. He was at the National Constitution Center where he blasted the Republicans for their efforts to undermine the right to vote. Here is some of his speech.
In 2020, more people voted in America than ever in the history of America, in the middle of a once-in-a-century pandemic. All told, more than 150 Americans of every age, of every race, of every background exercised their right to vote. They voted early. They voted absentee. They voted in person. They voted by mail. They voted by drop box. And then they got their families and friends to go out and vote. Election officials, the entire electoral system, withstood unrelenting political attacks, physical threats, intimidation, and pressure. They did so with unyielding courage and faith in our democracy. With recount after recount after recount, court case after court case, the 2020 election was the most scrutinized election ever in American history. Challenge after challenge brought to local, state, and election officials, state legislatures, state and federal courts, even to the United States Supreme Court not once but twice. More than 80 judges, including those appointed by my predecessor, heard the arguments. In every case, neither cause nor evidence was found to undermine the national achievement of administering the historic election in the face of such extraordinary challenges. Audits, recounts were conducted in Arizona and Wisconsin. In Georgia, it was recounted 3 times. It's clear. For those who challenge the results and question the integrity of the election, no other election has ever been held under such scrutiny and such high standards. The big lie is just that, a big lie. 2020 election, it's not hyperbole, suggests the most examined and the fullest expression of the will of the people in the history of this nation. This should be celebrated. An example of America at its best. But instead, we continue to see an example of human nature at its worst, something darker and more sinister. In America, if you lose, you accept the results. You follow the Constitution. You try again. You don't call facts fake and then try to bring down the American experiment just because you're unhappy. That's not statesmanship. That's not statesmanship. That's selfishness. That's not democracy. It's the denial of the right to vote. It suppresses. It subjugates. The denial of full and free and fair elections is the most un-American thing that any of us can imagine. The most undemocratic, the most unpatriotic, and sadly, not unprecedented.
So what was the reaction from those fighting on the ground for voting rights? Well, this is what Latasha Brown, co-founder of Black Voters Matter, tweeted today. Are y'all seeing the tweet here? Let me know if y'all seeing it. Let's see here. Not sure why you can't see it. Let me go ahead and show this here. Trust me, they were not at all impressed with what they heard there from President Biden. Let me go ahead and see if I can get this, show y'all this here. I pulled the tweets of Latasha, Cliff Albright, as well as Reverend Dr. William Barber. And let's see if it pops up now. There we go. All right, give me 1 second, folks. Let's see here. All right, there we go here. All right, Latasha Brown here. Go to it now. Good speech. So what's the strategy? Hashtag end the filibuster now. Cliff Albright, earlier he tweeted, this is before the speech, failing to address the filibuster in his speech today would be an epic fail, period. And then he tweeted, epic fail. He then later said, it's like listening to a doctor describe in the starkest terms how dire your illness is and then saying good luck with that as he escorts you out the office. Reverend Dr. William J. Barber, of course, co-convener of the Poor People's Campaign, said, POTUS, go to Texas and meet with activists and moral leaders of all races, colors, and creed, then go to Arizona and West Virginia and make the case for ending the filibuster to pass these three things: the For the People Act, expansion of the Voting Rights Act, and minimum wage of $15 an hour. Joining me now is Ben Dixon, his host, Benjamin Dixon Show podcast, Teresa Lundy, principal founder, TML Communications, Mustafa Santiago Ali, PhD, former senior advisor for the Environmental Justice EPA. Teresa, you're in Philadelphia, so I'll go ahead and start with you. Okay, President Biden goes to Philadelphia, gives a speech. What now? Teresa, Lord, child, how many times we got to go over this here?
I'm just paying attention to the video. So, but, President Biden, he did what other elected officials and politicians have done. They come here, they give the great speeches. We're all clapping. We're all looking for, I think the takeaways. We're looking for that strategy. So we don't know what the strategy is, but we do know, that speech was meant to do one thing, and that was to educate that we have an issue, and also to, I think, implore people to continuously do their efforts on the ground so something could happen. We're not entirely sure, based upon that speech, what actually could happen, but I think there is a strategy in place, and we'll just see it when it happens.
What's the strategy? Can you say the strategy in place? This is actually not that hard. The reality is Republicans are passing laws in the states. Democrats can pass the For the People Act and the John Lewis Act. Two Democratic senators, Kristen Sinema of Arizona and Joe Manchin of West Virginia, say they were not in the filibuster. That's it. So what's the strategy?
There's something in place. I think, again.
What? What's in place? Have you seen it? I haven't seen it.
No, no one has seen the strategy, but I'm sure from the president's office there is a strategy.
There
But
isn't.
again, we're all looking for it. And I think that's what people were essentially looking for when he spoke at the Constitution Center about this issue. So I think, again, Twitter is a part of, I think, even the engagement of conversation of asking President Biden, what is the strategy moving forward? But again, it's not, again, I'm used to these speeches. So we're all like, again, where's the strategy? Where do we go forward? But there really is not an answer unless it's coming from the White House itself.
Where is it, Ben? I haven't seen it, Ben.
I don't think they have one. I think their strategy is actually the big lie. And you can notice in that clip that the biggest applause came when they said the big lie, when Joe Biden said the big lie. And I understand the nature of messaging. I think that is their strategy. This is the reason I'm pointing it out. I think their strategy is to name it the big lie. It is the big lie. We get it. That's important. But that is not enough to push back against what these Republicans are doing across the country. And if the very best that these people who are ever doing this strategery, in the words of George W. Bush, whoever is putting this together, if you all don't have more than the ability to call it the big lie, then we've already lost this fight.
Mustafa, we know it's the big lie. It's been the big lie since the night Donald Trump lost. And in fact, it's been the big lie since that Saturday, since Joe Biden was declared the winner. So we know it's a big lie. But the big lie is causing Republicans to still pass the bills. You could call it the big lie. They're still passing the bills.
I mean, you can call it black folks and Latin folks and young people ain't gonna get a chance to make sure that their vote is actually counted and utilized to make change happen. You can label anything you want to label it. The reality is you got 16 months, and then we're gonna be voting in the midterms. So what you gonna do? It's real simple. I mean, a number of folks have shared with the president. Statesmanship is not something that the current Republican Party is interested in, whether on the federal level or the state level. So let's just be very clear about that. So if you understand that, then Reverend Barber and a number of others have shared with us what you got to do. So you got to make sure that you tell Sinema and that you tell Manchin that we are going to make sure that when it comes to voting rights, that we are going to change the rules around the filibuster, and we expect you to get in line. And we expect you to get in line because if you don't, we're not going to have to worry about resources going to all those programs that you say that you care about and all the programs that we care about. So the reality is either we are going to honor and respect the vote and make sure that all the folks who did all that work as we move toward the midterm, that it's going to pay off. Because if you don't, here's what's going to happen, Roland. If the folks who got put into office for a particular reason, there was a set of agenda, if you are not going to make sure that that agenda can go forward by making sure that you're honoring the vote, then folks are not going to show up, the way that they did before, because they're going to stop believing in the process. So you have the opportunity to actually change that. So call it out. I have no problem with, these bipartisan and collaborative actions if people are interested in that, but they're just not. So you know what to do.
So let me show y'all something, and this is why, for me, this speech was problematic. All right, go to my computer, please. Okay. All right, top right-hand corner, y'all see that? It says begin with. So I'm going to do this here. I'm going to type in Senate. One reference. It says, Senate, last month, Republicans opposed even debating, even considering for the People Act. Senate Democrats stood united to protect our democracy and the sanctity of the vote. We must pass the For the People Act. It's a national imperative. That's the only reference, United States Senate. All right, so let me try this here. Okay, let me click this here. All right, let me type in cinema. Nothing found. Okay, so let me type in Manchin. Nothing found. Okay, let me type in. Let me go back. Sorry about that. Let me type in. Let's see here. Okay, control. Let me type in filibuster. Nothing found. Teresa, if you're going to give a speech on voting rights in Philadelphia, and you make no mention of Kristen Sinema, you make no mention of Joe Manchin, you make no mention of filibuster, what the hell are you doing?
I think we're encouraging the big lie. I think we are still, pandering to whatever Democratic base that, the president is doing. But I think he also wants to be seen as bipartisan. So, or just neutral, really, in this stance. I mean, people left there saying, we went there saying President Biden's going to lay it out. But I also think people left saying, what next? So it's just unfortunate. I think this is a real opportunity to happen.
Go back to my computer, please. Ben, I typed in Supreme Court, and I see a reference of Donald Trump and his folks going to Supreme Court 3 times. Then he mentions the Supreme Court decision in 2013. And then just 2 weeks ago, their decision, again, talking about that whole deal. That's Supreme Court. So let me put in here Arizona. Okay, Arizona, one match. Mentioned him, the audits being conducted in Arizona. Now, the Supreme Court case actually came out of Arizona. So again, I'm sorry, if you're going to stand up, and give this big speech on voting rights, if you don't discuss the elephant in the room, and I'm not talking about Republican Party, you can't discuss this if you don't deal with the reality of the filibuster and the two people who are blocking it. What in the hell does the White House, what do they want us to do? Because see, here's the deal. I've been to the rallies. I've been to the events. We streamed right here, went live when the Poor People's Campaign, they were in West Virginia. Black Voters Matter, Caravan, beginning on June 19th, all the way to the nation's capital, from Mississippi all the way here, ended on June 26th. All those things have happened. I have seen actions. They were on the Supreme Court steps on Monday. These things have happened. I'm still trying to get the White House to understand what more do they want us to do as opposed to Biden. Do y'all have you seen any story saying Biden calls Sinema and Manchin to the White House for a meeting?
Yeah. Roland, they want us to be satisfied when they finally cross the finish line on voting rights, because there's absolutely no way they're going to be able to allow 2022 to come around without this being rectified, or else that's game. That's the ball game. Republicans are playing for keeps. And because I know Democrats know that I'm with Teresa on this, they better have a strategy. But I think part of that strategy is that they want us to be so happy with this manufactured fight that they have us squabbling over right now, when they know what they have to do. They know what they had to do for a very long time. And they have us going to the wire on the very fundamental right to vote. And then they want us to be satisfied and pay no attention to all the other things that they did not get accomplished between now and the midterms. Unless they do otherwise, that's the strategy I think the Democrats are employing.
I mean, again, Mustafa, the people have done their part. We have discussed this issue over and over and over and over again. Now, here's my deal. If you don't want to call out Manchin and Sinema, then just simply come out and say, hey, y'all, they ain't changing their mind. They are not going to end the filibuster. That's it. They are not going to do it. Say that. But don't give me this bullshit of we need y'all to do more. Like what? Like what? That's the problem I have. This as if there's something more that we can do. I know what we're going to do. We're going to register folks for 2022. We're going to beat the bushes to throw out every single Republican who stands with Donald Trump. But don't sit here and play me and act like it's on us when we already know the deal. There are two people who are standing in the way of ending the filibuster. Two. That's it. Nobody else. Sinema, Manchin. Just come out and say it.
Yeah, come out and say it. And also just have real talk. We all been around Washington too long. We know when somebody putting a veneer over top of stuff. If you tell me that you're going to fight for me, when you're asking for my vote, then that's exactly what I expect you to do. And you got to be clear with folks. I often tell folks, I don't care if you're a Republican or an independent or a Democrat. If you're not willing to stand up and do what's right for my community, then there's no way that you can get my vote. And that also means have those tough conversations with Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema that you will not receive the resources that are necessary for your next run. I don't know why folks can't be honest with folks. If you're not willing to stand in solidarity for these things which are basic rights, we're talking about basic rights. If you're not willing to do that, then you don't deserve our vote, and you don't deserve our dollars, because we know what the outcome is going to be in 16 months if you don't get it together. So this is not difficult. The formula is very clear. It's not like that you got to know some advanced mathematics about what's going on. It's 1 + 1 = making sure that voting rights is protected. If you're not going to do that, then you're not serious about the job that you hold.
And again, here's the deal. President Joe Biden cannot make Sinema and Manchin do what he wants them to do. What I need, Ben, I need to actually hear Biden say, I am calling Manchin and Sinema to the White House. I had a meeting with them. I implored them to end the filibuster, to pass the For the People Act and the John Lewis Act, and they told me no. Folks, I tried for 2 hours. They would not budge. Fine. Say that to me.
It's the classic foil. Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin are set up there to be the bad people because they have enough years between now and their next election. And I just can't come to any other conclusion. I try to give Democrats the benefit of the doubt. I try to extend them the offer of good faith, but they're not dumb people by long. They have too many degrees behind their names. They have too many dollars behind their names for them not to know this. And because I know they know this, I believe they are playing a game with us so that we will celebrate when voting rights are protected. But I'm sorry, I thought we took care of that in 64, 65.
Well, first of all, anyone that was never protected in 65 because it was 25 years sunset provision that was placed on it. But the thing here, Teresa, is what people are saying. Just level with folks. Again, this is real simple. Okay, and we know what the deal is. You don't want to piss off Sinema and Manchin because you want their vote for your infrastructure bill and some other stuff as well. But hey, if you come out and say, look, I did everything I could, these two ain't budging, we got to move on. I get it. I mean, I totally get it. If it's dead, say it's dead. But don't sit here and play this game here. But if you're going to do it, Teresa, if you're going to do it, you're going to go to Philadelphia, go there and tell the people in Philadelphia, fight the Republicans in the legislature in Pennsylvania. If you're going to do it, go to Texas and say, Democrats, you were 5 seats away in 2020 from taking over the Texas House. I am here to help raise money for you to win back the Texas House in the next election in 2022. Go to Arizona. See, if you're going to do it, go ahead and say 2 Democratic senators in D.C. are not going to end the filibuster. So the only way we're going to move ahead is if we take back some state houses and some state senates and win more Senate seats. Damn it, just say it. And then that's the game plan. That's the game plan I think you're looking for.
And I think that's the game plan people are wanting. So when we have some of these individuals that have been on the ground doing the work, going to their local senator and asking them, Joe Manchin, and asking, how can we move forward, having those discussions. We didn't have black leaders. We didn't have every leader, here under the sun trying to find a common ground. But I think the most important part you said, Roland, had to do with what is the office of the presidency saying, and are they having those meetings, and what is the results from there? So we haven't heard anything from there. Pennsylvania, we have our own issues with the Republican Party as it is. They are in the majority right now in the Senate and in the House. So there is some very interesting elections coming up in the next 2 years that we have to prepare for. But you're right. Even as we have a Democratic president, there could have been some of that leadership and some of that I think reauthorization of authority in the Democratic Party that could have resonated a bit more. So I think there was a lot of missing elements, especially if we wanted to do a national unification type of speech. But again, we're missing the ball here because there is no strategy. But again, I think that strategy always starts and stops with the office of the presidency.
Well, let's go to our guest. Texas Democrats flew in from the state yesterday. They flew in to keep the Texas House from having a quorum. Well, Republicans are not happy at all. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he is going to call a special session after special session until the election. He doesn't care. It says he will also have all of these Democrats arrested as best that he can. Yeah, that's literally what he said, of course, on Fox News. Joining us right now are two of those Texas Democrats. They are here in Washington, D.C. You have State Representative Ron Reynolds, and also we have State Representative Jasmine Crockett, both of them with the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. Glad to have both of you here. I was just talking about, again, the speech the president gave today. So I just want to get both of you, your thoughts on that speech. Sure, talked about voting rights, but the reality is people want to see action. Did you hear action? Did you hear a game plan? I'll start with you first, Representative Crockett.
Daggone it, I was hoping you were going to start with
Ladies first.
It's hard for me to, first of all, I appreciate your guest that you just interviewed with. It's hard for me to take a hard stance that would involve me being too critical of an administration that I'm asking for help from, right? I just can't. I don't know what the conversations are behind the scenes. If I was wearing my layperson hat, I probably would say that I would have liked to have seen more, and that's because what I'm dealing with is, a governor that is akin to a tyrant. He's like, I'll do whatever, because we're going to get these bills passed, right? Like he want to do whatever it takes to make sure that he suppresses votes. And so I would like a little bit of that vigor. Like, we're going to do whatever it takes. We're not going on break that we're supposed to be coming up on. Like, y'all are going to get something done because these legislators have left their families. They have risked, being arrested. They can't even go back home right now. Like, I would like to see that, but, everybody has their own style. But it's hard for me because we are doing everything within our power. And I'm unaware of, obviously, everything that the White House is doing. But I think I would have personally liked to see a little bit more.
Representative Reynolds, again, what people are looking for, they are looking for that plan of action. They're looking for, okay, what's next? I just walked through it. I walked through the entire speech here. I went through it. I didn't see any mention of Manchin, any mention of cinema, any mention of filibusters, heard none of that. And so we see what is ahead of us. We see, what's going on. This is akin to somebody saying, we're going to repossess your car if you don't pay this. It's real simple. Either I come up with the money to pay for it or my car getting repossessed. Okay? There's no third alternative out there that's going to magically appear. The bottom line is this. 2 Democratic senators are stopping the ending of the filibuster. You can't get past that, It ain't happening. They already tried to vote on it, okay? You didn't get Republicans who sided with the Democrats. Simple as that. So the only option is to end the filibuster to pass these two bills. That's it. And so the White House has agreed they're going to meet with all of you. First of all, has it already happened, or is it a plan? But what's the plan nationally, and what are y'all telling Senate Democrats?
Well, Frat, first of all, it's good to be back on your show, a great alpha man and a great Texan. I agree with my colleague, Representative Crockett, and today we did meet with the White House. We met with Vice President Kamala Harris just before we got on your show. We had a great conversation with her, and I believe that she is a woman of action and a great part of our Divine Nine. I agree with you that we want to see strong rhetoric and action from President Biden. I believe that he is leading. I believe that he's trying to manage that delicate balance to push, as those civil rights leaders met with him recently and pushed him and nudged him to get to what he did today in Philadelphia. But we know that there's a delicate balance where he doesn't want to isolate or ostracize Manchin and Sinema because he doesn't want to risk pushing them to the other side. The Republicans are salivating to get them over to their side. But we know for a fact, if we don't stand now and get passage of H.R. 1 and H.R. 4, then our democracy is at stake. And more than likely, we're going to lose the House and the Senate in the midterm. So Republicans are not playing fair. They don't want to do any bipartisan support. When we passed the pivotal Voting Rights Act of 1965, which made it possible for me and Representative Crockett and so many others whose shoulders we stand on to hold public office today because it ended Jim Crow laws. If we don't be careful, they're going to take us back to those dark days. That's what the Republican leadership is trying to do. So damn with bipartisanship. It's time, as Majority Whip Clyburn said, to make an exception for the Voting Rights Act and get a filibuster, get the 50 senators and the vice president to break the tiebreaker and pass H.R. 1 and H.R. 4. I want to see the president come a little stronger. Maybe he's waiting to get them behind closed doors, but damn it, it is time to move this legislation forward.
Representative Crockett, Jeff Bennett of NBC tweeted this. Senator Joe Manchin says he will meet with the Texas Democrats, asked if he would support a carve-out in the filibuster just for voting rights legislation. Manchin wouldn't answer, saying only that he's anxious to meet with the legislators via NBC's Hill team.
Listen, that's something. I mean, when you think about what happened the first time we got here, when we first came up, he was like, I'm not doing H.R. 1. I'm not doing it. I mean, it was no, to the extent that, he did an op-ed around where he stood on that. The fact that he didn't say no flat out gives me hope, because he has never been shy about saying no on these issues. I believe that we were able to move the needle last time because we were able to tell him and his team exactly how bad things were. But at that time, we had killed the bill. We didn't know if we would officially be called back in. We didn't know what a new bill would look like. Well, now we have a new live bill. In fact, we've got two new bills, a Senate bill and a House bill. They're not identical. And so, now we can say, listen, we did all that work. We tried to work with him. We went back because he appreciates bipartisanship. We did everything that we could. But out of almost 500 people that testified on Saturday, only 80-something of those people testified in favor of that bill. The other 400 testified against that bill. Do you think that mattered when it came down to the vote? It didn't matter, not one iota. They did not care. And so seeing this and being able to say, listen, we tried it your way. And even when you look at the legislation that's being passed in these other states, I'm sure that those lawmakers tried it your way, but they are all being passed upon a partisan line. So it's time for him to show up for us. And I'm hoping that he's going to show up for us. And I'm okay if the carve out is just for this, but it's just that necessary right now.
You talked about Governor Greg Abbott, who just continued to lie and lie and lie. Representative Reynolds, here's the governor lying today on Fox News.
Last 30 days. And the governor calls them, and I will continue calling special session after special session because overtime is going to continue until they step up to vote. But, Laura, I have to point this out. The thesis that they are operating under is completely false, because what the Texas law does doesn't hinder anybody's ability to vote. In fact, interestingly, what Texas is seeking to do is to add additional hours to vote. Texas has 12 days of early voting, and the hours of which will be expanded, and we will ensure that hours are expanded on Election Day also. So their entire thesis is completely wrong. And compare early voting in Texas with early voting that we have in Delaware. Texas has 12 days of early voting. Delaware has 0 days of early voting. Why am I picking on Delaware? Because that is where the president himself voted in the last election. And if anybody wants to talk about voter suppression, they should be talking about Delaware, not Texas.
Yeah.
We have special sessions that last 30 days. And the
course,
governor calls them, and I will continue.
He doesn't want to talk about how they're severely curtailing drop boxes, how they're severely curtailing how you can vote. He was on Fox News on Chris Wallace on Sunday just acting a fool, saying, oh, that if you're doing drive-through voting in Harris County, you could have your employers in the car and they could be sitting here making you vote the way they want you to vote. And, you know, there's the sanctity of the ballot and all kind of nonsense like that.
Roland, you know, to be quite honest with you, there was once a time that I had respect for Governor Abbott, but I have no respect for him. Maya Angelou said it best. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. He showed me that he is praying at the Trump altar. He is perpetuating the big lie. With his own Secretary of State that he picked, said that there was no election fraud. Absolutely none. So what he's doing is nothing more than on a political stage pandering to the far right. The same people that stormed our Capitol on January 6th, those same people, those are the fringe people that he's catering to. Not like Representative Crockett said, the overwhelming majority of Texans that said this is not what we want to do. The same people who are going to be disenfranchised, who look like us, black and brown folks. Those are the people that they don't care about. They don't care about Black Lives Matter. They care about the far right that's going to be voting in the next Republican primary. Those same people that believe Donald Trump's big lie, even though they know it's not true. And so I'm going to speak truth to power like Representative Crockett. And we're here in D.C. demanding, asking, pleading, begging, whatever it takes, getting down on a knee, asking Sinema and Manchin, because it does go down to those two. We met with Senator Booker today, who's all on board with us. We know that the other Democrats are ready to roll and pass this legislation. So we're pleading to them with everything that we have. Our country is at stake. And just like a pivotal moment in 1965, when Lyndon Baines Johnson, a Texan, signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965, history will remember those who were on the wrong side of this issue. And I urge and plead with those two U.S. senators to do the right thing for the sake of our democracy.
Panel got questions. Mustafa, your question for our two Texas reps.
What is it that you would want from all of us out here to better be able to support you there in Texas as you are, you know, trying to make real change happen?
Yeah, you know, I think that you're doing exactly what we need. This issue has to stay on the forefront. All of you are involved in the media. You know what the cycle normally looks like. The news cycle goes like this. And so the fact that we're keeping this up is really starting to educate people, because you've got to continue to say it over and over and over before people really start to get it. So number one, we need to make sure that we keep the pressure up and make sure that we're keeping people informed. Number two, we really need the public to get involved. You know, it's not just us elected officials. There's only so many of us that are elected. We need the people to lobby and say, hey, this is what we need. At some point in time, we can move that needle if the people put enough pressure. So, you know, I want people making phone calls. I want people to establish protests. I want people sending emails. All those things that happen to us all the time, that honestly does make a difference. And we obviously need your support as well. Support your candidates that are actually doing right by you. Support your elected officials that are doing right by you, because it's not easy. We all made a sacrifice that none of us saw coming when we swore in for the 87th session. And so we need to know that you're behind us, that you're supporting us. Some of my colleagues are talking about some of the negative telephone calls that they're getting and how upsetting it is, the things that they say. Sometimes you never know what a good word could do to somebody on a bad day.
Teresa,
I would just briefly add.
Representative Reynolds, go ahead.
I would just real briefly add that we need people just like Fannie Lou Hamer, ordinary citizens didn't have a title, that were just sick and tired of being sick and tired, to make some good and necessary trouble, to make sure that you're voting, to make sure that you're using your social media platforms to keep this conversation going, and to, by any means necessary, stay woke. Don't let this be the next news cycle and then something else happen, another unarmed black man gets shot, and then you're on to the next. We need to stick to this until Congress does the right thing. So make sure you stay the course. We can't just start this, get excited, and then we go on to the next one. We need to stay on this until we get it fixed. Otherwise, they're going to continue to suppress votes all around the country. It may happen to Georgia one day, Arizona the next day, Texas, and then they're going to go for all the other states where Republicans are led. Eventually, they'll take over this country. So we need to continue to fight and do everything we can to speak truth to power.
We'll stop. Teresa, your question.
Thank you, representatives. I just had a question regarding the relationship between some of the actions that has already been brought to the White House. So has the Biden administration been helping in terms of communicating with the senators who are, filibustering this bill? Like, has there been communication that you guys can share?
I will say that we met about 4 weeks ago with the Vice President Harris in the Rose Garden. And again, we met with Vice President Harris today. We have not had direct communication with President Biden, but we have met with his team and his surrogates. And I can tell you that they've been very helpful with messaging. We've met with the Vice President's communication team, Simone Sanders, who's phenomenal, and others who are helping us with messaging. They're helping us with resources. And so we believe that there is a good coordination, and they're doing what they can. We like to see them do more, of course, but they are making good faith efforts. I believe that they've extended a olive branch and a hand, and they're giving us additional tools to use from a meeting we had with Vice President Harris today that we're going to use going forward. So there is an ongoing assistance and dialogue. We're on the same page. In fact, Vice President Harris mentioned it in her speech yesterday when we broke quorum that she was supportive of us. President Biden said it when it initially happened that he was supportive of it. So they're using their platform. They have the bully pulpit. They can help shape the narrative, and they have given some great assistance, and I'm very grateful for the assistance that they've given. We want them to continue to help us, and we desperately need all the help that we can receive at this time.
Ben, your question.
Yeah, Representative Crockett, as you were speaking, it made me think of the domino effect and the severity. Actually, as both of you were speaking, the domino effect and the severity of them not acting and securing our right to vote. Could you just kind of play out very quickly what you've seen in Texas and how deadly serious Republicans are in Texas about seizing power by any means necessary? What happens if the Democrats don't protect our vote?
Well, first of all, we're in a redistricting year. I'm sorry. They're trying to call me for an interview. We're in the middle of a redistricting year. And so what we're going to have is we're going to have these crazy lines that are going to be gerrymandered. We're going to lose seats in the U.S. Congress. We're probably going to lose seats as well as in the State House. And we may lose potentially one Senate seat as well, even though we know that the majority of the growth has been in the urban areas, which tend to trend more democratically. And so what we're going to see is the power grab that they're after. We don't know when, if ever, we will get a hold of really getting back to having real representation that represents the people in the state of Texas. They are going way too far.
Representative Reynolds, can you answer the question?
Yeah, the only thing I would add is that I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but the bottom line is there's going to be a lot of dark days ahead if we don't get this right. We're already dealing with ridiculous things like constitutional carry, which is permitless carry, which they passed. We're already dealing with them effectively ending a woman's right to choose. We're already dealing with a great pandemic that we didn't do anything to help people that we still lead the nation in the number of uninsured with no Medicaid expansion, one of 12 states. We still don't have a livable wage. So there's so many issues. So it's going to get worse if we don't get this fixed, because you're going to see more and more Republican recalcitrants. You're going to see more and more fringe elements, this ridiculous notion of critical race theory. So there's going to be so much damage done to Black and brown communities, underserved communities, marginalized communities. And I'm very concerned about the future of the state of Texas if we don't get this right now.
All right, then. Representative Ron Reynolds, Representative Jasmine Crockett, we surely appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. And we'll keep staying on top of this issue. We appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
All right, folks. Got to go to a break. We come back. More on Roland Martin Unfiltered, including, well, we'll just smack these Republicans around a little bit more. So the sister who created the whole go lay down craze, yeah, she's going to join us right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Can't wait to talk about that. And plus other news of the day. We'll be back in a moment.
I believe that people our age have lost the ability to focus the discipline on the art of organizing.
The challenges, there's so many of them and they're complex, and we need to be moving to address them. But I'm able to say, watch out, Tiffany, I know this road.
That is so freaking dope.
George Floyd's death hopefully put another nail in the coffin of racism.
You talk about awakening America. It led to a historic summer of protest.
I hope our younger generation don't ever forget that nonviolence is soul force.
Priceless.
Hi, everybody. This is Jonathan Nelson.
Hi, this is Cheryl Lee Ralph, and you are watching Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Well, Oklahoma teachers could face suspension from the State Department of Education for teaching critical race theory. The Oklahoma State Board of Education passed House Bill 1775, a bill banning teaching one's race or sex is inherently superior to another, and that anyone, by virtue of their race or sex, is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously. The new legislation implements the suspension of any school employee that violates House Bill 1775. Schools that fail to comply will be downgraded to accredited with deficiency status and be given 1 year to rectify the issues. Meanwhile, on an appearance on the Fox News America Reports, well, the former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, she puts out a call to action for every governor in the United States to ban critical race theory curriculum funding in public schools because the white nationalists are doing what they do.
And they don't know anything about color. If she's white, you're telling her she's bad. If she's brown or black, you're telling her she'll never be enough and she'll always be a victim. That is harmful for the very well-being of our children. I mean, I remember getting teased on the playground when I was younger in rural South Carolina, and my mom would say, your job is to show them how you're similar, not how you're different. We don't need to go and do what's happening on college campuses now to our children in kindergarten. Every governor in the country needs to ban funding for critical race theory. Governors can decide this. They decide which money they take from the Department of Education. Don't take this money. This will have effects that will go long-lasting into our kids. They don't need to be judged from the second they walk into school. They don't need to be told which label they are when they walk into the school. We need to treat kids as the opportunities they're going to be to fix America, not break them before they start.
All right.
Folks, let's be real clear here. Nikki Haley is full of crap. Full of crap. What I need y'all to understand, and I've been telling y'all, and see, y'all gotta understand the Republican strategy. They sit in a room and concoct bullshit. They then circulate it amongst their people. They then force mainstream to talk about it, and then mainstream falls for the okie doke to try to have a sensible conversation, but they ain't sensible. You always got to say, wait, where's this coming from? Judd Legum, a writer with the Popular Information newsletter, they've uncovered who's actually funding critical race theory, which, you know, he says hysteria. Now, he's going to join us tomorrow. But what he breaks out is that it's a hedge fund dude out of Florida who gave a significant amount of money to the Manhattan Institute. Why does that matter? Well, because Christopher Rufo, the dude who started this whole thing, guess where he's a fellow? The Manhattan Institute. And so what then happens is Fox News, conservative radio, conservative digital begin to pick it up, talk about it. Then Fox News begins to amplify it. And so earlier I was laughing because Joe Concha, who calls himself a so-called media writer. So Joe Concha was on Fox News and he posted this clip that I just could not help but laugh about because he went on Fox News today and said, that critical race theory is going to become a huge issue in the 2022 and the 2024 election. Let's just be real clear. Joe Concha is a right-wing hack. That's what he is. And he's been trying to get him a gig at Fox News for the longest. And so he went on talking about this here. And I just got to show y'all, again, listen to what he had to say, but I want to break down for y'all what poor little Joe didn't mention. All right, listen to this.
Meanwhile, Joe, you warn in a new column that CRT could cost Democrats heavily at the polls. Here's what you wrote. From a political perspective, Democrats should be horrified. It certainly will be a top issue for the foreseeable future. Critical race theory is coming to a school near you. The teacher unions are insisting on it. It also has the full backing of the Biden administration. The disconnect with parents is profoundly stunning and politically suicidal. So, Joe, when people say, well, it's not exactly a course in schools across America, what do you say?
I say if the teachers union is getting millions of dollars into a war chest to make sure that this does get taught, then yeah, it absolutely will be part of the curriculum and a major part of it. And look, if this was college, Harris, and it's an elective, something that a student chooses to take, then we're not talking about this right now. Fine, go right ahead. But the fact that 5, 6, 7-year-olds are being taught critical race theory, they don't even understand it. They don't have a concept of it. I have a 5 and a 7-year-old. I know. And look at the polling. Recent Harvard Caps Harris, 6 in 10 voters said children should not be taught that America is, quote, structurally racist, unquote. YouGov economist, same. Recent poll, 6 in 10 American voters have an unfavorable view of critical race theories. But the teachers union, you know, they know better, just like they knew better in keeping schools closed and doing the irreparable damage that we just talked about to students in the process, according to the studies that we're seeing now. And now we're seeing, Harris, more than 50 school board recall efforts this year already. We're barely halfway through 2021. That's 5 times higher than other years. This will be a huge issue in 2022 and 2024. And Nikki Haley is right. And Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida, for example, he's already banned critical race theory from being taught in schools in the Sunshine State, Harris.
Joe Concha, no one can cover that much territory like you in just a few seconds. Great to have you on the program. Thanks for watching.
Well, actually, a lot of us actually can cover 3 subjects in 5 minutes and 18 seconds, Harris. Ben, I want to start with you. You listen to the absolute bullshit from Joe Concha. And Harris, for some reason, doesn't want to actually provide any semblance of facts. Concha sat there and goes, 5 and 7-year-olds are being taught. Where, Joe? Where? You're lying. Then we talked about, these 50 recall efforts. Now, here's what's interesting. Joe Concha is a media/political columnist for The Hill, owned by a huge Donald Trump supporter, far right winger. What Joe Concha did not say, which you might want to say, Joe, if you're a so-called media reporter, is how the very network that pays you, Fox News, where you were having this discussion, they're the ones who've actually amplified critical race theory more than anybody else. The numbers don't lie. You can show over the last 90 days how Fox News has made more than 4,000 mentions of critical race theory. What this is about is stoking white fear. And this is what they do, Ben. This is how the right plays the game. And so we talked about it yesterday. Rich Lowry, hey, let's use this as an opportunity to take over school boards, control the curriculum. That's what the game here is. And so we see exactly what's going on. And he knows it's BS. He knows it's a lie. He knows it. But Joe wants to play the cute little game, and he doesn't want to deal with facts. He's lying.
I'm thinking back to the interview that we just had, that you just did with Representative Jasmine Crockett, and she said that she would like to see some of that energy fighting for our rights that we see coming from Republicans. Similarly, we're dealing with a breed of politician that, quite frankly, is just sociopathic. These people are dangerous, and they will stop at nothing to get political power for their agenda. They do not care about democracy. They don't care about truth. Nikki Haley sat there with the straightest face, with the biggest, caringest, most look of concern, and made it seem like critical race theory was the #1 problem in this country, and she knows she's full of shit. That's a problem. That was our former ambassador to the United Nations. They have too much power to be this level of sociopaths.
See, the reason I'm calling it what it is, Mustafa, is because you have to fight fire with fire. Every time one of these Republicans starts going, you're teaching critical race theory, shut up, you're lying, you're an idiot. You're lying, you're an idiot. Yeah, but my daughter, when? Show me what was said. Show me what was taught. When? It's not policy. No, they're liars. See, what they want is, they want these in-depth conversations. They want, that's why when Joanne Reed had Christopher Rufo on, that's what they wanted. It didn't matter she made Rufo look like a fool. They wanted to be able to say, we force you to actually discuss it in depth on your show because it lends more credibility to them. My deal is, now we ain't doing it. We're gonna call this what it is, and that is white fear. And what they're doing is, they know they need white people angry, turning out in these local elections. That's all what this is about. And so when you just follow the money, this far right-wing hedge fund billionaire out of Florida has given millions of dollars to the Heritage Foundation and the Manhattan Institute. And what they do is they put these people on television, just like Heather McDonald and other racists. Every time there's a police story, and guess where she's a fellow? The Manhattan Institute. That's what it is. They use the money going to these right-wing think tanks, tax deductions as well, to feed this BS, and Fox News gladly presents the lies as the so-called truth.
It's all a part of strategy, and that's what we hope folks really understand, that there is a strategy about disinformation, about trying to plant these types of things in fertile ground, and that means that you got to continue to water it all the time, and that's why we have to rip it out, and that's why we have to call it for what it is. And when you don't do that, because they have the AM radio stations, and they have Fox News, and they have a number of these other new networks that continue to repeat the same lies over and over and over again, people start to believe, well, there must be some truth there because I continue to hear it on the radio and see it on TV. And that's why folks have to call it out. You also got to understand the rest of the game. And so Nikki Haley, who is positioning herself for 2024, for either the #1 or #2 position, you watch how she evolves into, some of these more negative types of things that they continue to push out. They do it the same thing that we saw with voter fraud. So when you say, well, show us where the voter fraud is, they never can do it. It's the same thing with CRT actually being taught to younger kids. And here's the last part. CRT came into being in the mid-1970s. So you got 50 years. And it never, people never grabbed hold of it the way that they have now, because we're now in this political season where folks need to create these boogeymen or boogie women, whatever you want to call it, so that, you can get people all riled up. And, they don't mind stoking the fires. They don't mind what comes out, these negative actions. We've seen these PTA meetings and these other meetings that are happening with high school officials and other, not too far away in Loudoun County, where people was bugging out and, and acting crazy and talking about they didn't want their kids taught this kind of stuff, even though their kids was never taught it. So you just got to understand the game.
Well, but Teresa, it's understanding the game and knowing how to fight in the game. And that's the deal here. And so you've got to be willing to sit here and fight fire with fire. Again, you can't reason with stupid. You can't try to be, let's have common sense. No, you got to be able to say, that's a lie, and you're lying right now, and you're still lying. That's what you have to do. You have no choice. You have to counter that. And what I'm trying to get people to understand is they are desperate for a red wave. Understand what this is all about. They cannot fight Democrats on the economy. They cannot fight Democrats on the rollout of the COVID vaccine. They cannot fight Democrats when it came to the other bills. What they are doing is, we got to figure out, a cultural flashpoint. Yeah. Ooh, this critical race theory. Yeah, that's what it is. And so we're going to just say it's being taught everywhere. It's all over the place. It's critical race theory. It's left and right. It's in the trees. It's in the schoolhouses. It's being taught on the playgrounds. And the people on the left don't fall for the damn banana in the tailpipe. Don't give them what they want.
You're absolutely right. For the last 4 years, Donald Trump has been president. There has been a very concise message to implore the non-truth and the big lie that has been gearing across these networks that are supposed to be our trusted news networks. And so we have seen, new developments and outpour of rhetoric that has been coming across that, white people are just essentially, the victim in all this. But when really history just kind of just lays it out what it is. Now, if it's being taught in our schools, and I think that's part of the portion of where Nikki Haley and the rest of the Republican Party and also the right has been really hinging on is that, it's basically not their fault. That African Americans and, immigrants have been going through this stuff and it's just not their fault, but really it is. And I think, now that all these conversations in terms of reform and change is happening, I think it's really, I think the direction of the Democrats is now trying to take that level eye and say, listen, you guys, we're trying to fix it, but we can't move past it because we still have some of these hurdles. We're still going backwards in some of these laws that we're saying we need you to pass. So if you're saying, you're sorry and you want something better, then I think part of it is that you guys actually have to say, yes, we're going to stop this filibuster. We are going to pass voting rights. We are going to make sure that, there's health care for all. So there's so many things that can happen, but there is a deny of the process of admittance, really, from the Republicans that are saying we're not at fault. So,
again, what you don't do is you don't let people dictate the terms of the conversation. When these folks were in Loudoun County, Ben, the superintendent said it's not being taught here. No, but they kept going. And that's where you go, it's not being taught here. You're lying. You're lying. Y'all making it up. You're being fed BS by Fox News. That's why you're here. See, now granted, folks don't want to go there. They don't want to upset their feelings. But we have to understand what exactly what you have here. You have to understand if I'm dealing with somebody who I know is crazy, I'm not about to sit here and try to have a logical conversation. I'm going to deal with crazy like I deal with crazy. And what we have to understand is crazy is driving the Republican Party. Crazy is listening to Donald Trump. Crazy is who's supporting them. Crazy who's backing critical race, who's all this critical race theory nonsense. That's what's going on. And look, y'all, here's what's so crazy, Ben. I have spent more years of my professional career in black media anywhere else. Ran 3 black newspapers, founding editor of BlackAmericanWeb.com, news editor of Savoy Magazine, produced a major broadcasting cable network in election special in 2000. 11 years at TV One. No, 11 years at Tom Joyner, 13 years at TV One, all black owned, news director of the black owned radio station. Ben, do you know when I heard about critical race theory?
I don't know.
3 months ago. Out of all the black, y'all can't find nobody else in America who has done black radio, black television, black newspaper, black digital, all of them. And all this time, critical race theory ain't never come up in not now conversation. So these white folks actually think that I'm gonna fall for this okie doke, that, oh my God, it's taking over the world. No, Ben, this is what's angering them. Everybody listen to me real clear. What's angering them were conscious white people who saw George Floyd murdered, and they said, we can't be silent. That is what is causing the uproar.
Yeah, Roland, it's such a malicious thing. Insidious is the word I'm looking for. It's such an insidious technique that Republicans are employing here. They've created the specter of something for their people to be afraid of, but they've also created, they have us defending is from a position of nobody's teaching critical race theory, which is true. I would rather do what you said, Roland. You said, don't let them set the terms of the debate. Here's the other thing. Listen, even if they were teaching critical race theory, y'all children need to learn it, right? There's enough white supremacy in this country for us to be teaching critical race theory every single day of the week and twice on the weekends. So not only are they not going to have me afraid of the specter of the boogeyman that they created of critical race theory, they're also not going to make me afraid of the fact that America needs to address white supremacy at the root.
Yeah, but I just want us to understand, you don't get sucked into somebody else's BS. You see it for what it is, and then say, nah, we're not playing that game. Nope, it's not gonna happen. Sorry, not gonna happen. So I just need everybody to understand, I ain't debating critical race theory. I'm not gonna debate it. I'm not gonna debate some foolishness that is not being taught in elementary school, middle school, high school. Hell, it ain't being taught on the undergrad level in college. No, but because they want, by even having the debate, you're actually playing right into their hands. All right, let's go to New York, folks, where a New York police officer is on administrative leave after punching a black woman in the throat. In this video, Officer Rory Spain is dragging and then punching Tyrena Edmonds in the throat while trying to detain her. Officers were called to Walmart for reports of a fight between 5 to 6 people. Once they arrived on the scene, employees alleged they were pepper sprayed and threatened by Edmonds and her sister. Yeah, watch this.
Yo, that's fucked up.
Now, she is charged with second-degree attempted assault of a police officer, fourth-degree criminal mischief, second-degree harassment, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and obstruction of governmental administration. Yeah, and then, of course, he was not too particularly happy that the cameras were rolling on him. Teresa, that's why I keep telling everybody, always have your camera. You got to do me a favor. Again, shoot this way so we can have full screen, not this way. So shoot horizontal, not vertical. Horizontal, not vertical. Teresa?
Yeah, it's horrible. Again, we're being treated like animals, thrown down like we don't pay any taxes, thrown down like we are inhuman. For the officer just to be on leave again, it's it's disgusting, you know. I mean, like they would not do this if this was a Walmart inside of the suburban area. Like, they are throwing these young women around like they are animals. And again, it's so disgusting because again, we people wonder why activists and groups and black, brown, white people are calling to defund the police and other areas of law enforcement because apparently training is not at the forefront of every decision. Like, this is it's horrible. It really is. It's like, how many discussions do we have to have? And again, if the tape wasn't rolling, what would be what would happen? What would happen? Would we even see this? You know, or would the eyewitness testimony even be in the report?
Yep. I mean, that's really, that's why, look, you got to have cameras rolling at all times when these things happen. And yeah, you can't convince me, the cop, oh yeah, let's see the cop punch a white woman in the throat in Walmart. Yeah. Yeah, this is Rory Spann. This is the officer right here on administrative leave. That's his mug shot, Mustafa.
Yeah, I'm always baffled by these police officers and the training that it doesn't take a lot to be able to restrain somebody after you have them handcuffed with their hands behind their back. You know, I studied martial arts since been 6 years old. And if you have proper training, you can make sure that you're restraining someone without actually hurting them. So, you know, it just goes to their first reaction in many instances is violence, right? And even with our women, they continue to do these types of actions that are unacceptable in every other community.
All right, absolutely. Ben, your comment.
It was just too much to look at, and Sister Teresa, I felt you as you were having to watch it again. Just the way they disrespect our humanity, particularly the humanity of black women. There's no way that they would ever do that to a white woman, ever.
Folks, in Texas, a former Houston police officer faces criminal charges accused of telling his colleagues to shoot an unarmed black man fleeing a traffic stop. Lucas Vieira was indicted by a Harris County grand jury in connection with the 2019 arrest of 34-year-old Andre Howard. Officers pulled Howard over for expired car registration, and during the arrest, Howard was handcuffed and searched before he began to run. In the police body cam video, you can hear Vieira yelling, "Just fucking shoot his ass," before the officer allegedly began to beat Howard over the head with a pair of handcuffs. Listen.
Just fucking shoot his ass! Shoot his ass! Bop! 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 Motherfucker! Motherfucker! All right, bro. You got it. You got it, bro. You got it. You got it, bro. We're okay.
Vieira's indictment comes 3 months after Howard filed an excessive force lawsuit against the officers. Howard's suit alleges the other officers watched Vieira degrade and abuse him and did not intervene. Indefinitely suspended in April, Vieira is facing a felony charge of aggravated assault by a public servant. Indefinitely suspended. Not fired, but indefinitely suspended. Day one of the trial of alleged predator Ed Buck began with the jury selection process. Buck is accused of luring and giving fatal doses of narcotics to 2 black men who died in his West Hollywood apartment in 2017 and 2019. The potential jurors faced a day of questioning. Here are a few of the proposed inquiries filed in Los Angeles federal court. The defense and the prosecution may ask, have you had a close friend or relative die of a drug overdose? Do you have any strongly held personal beliefs or opinions regarding prostitution? Do you believe that any adult who wants to pay for sexual activity with another adult should be able to do so? Do you hold any strong personal beliefs or opinions regarding homelessness? Do you hold any strong personal beliefs about individuals who may have broken the law and are cooperating with law enforcement by testifying? And once a jury is seated, the trial is expected to last 10 days. Buck is facing charges of running a drug den, persuading others to travel for prostitution, and providing fatal doses of methamphetamines to 2 black men, Jamel Moore and Timothy Dean. The 66-year-old wealthy Democratic donor is facing life in prison if he is convicted. Let's go to Florida, where there's a crazy story. A man who was planning to hire an assassin to kill his ex-girlfriend and some of her family members wanted to pin the crime on Black Lives Matter protesters. He's now pled guilty for murder for hire. 51-year-old Daniel Slater blamed his ex-girlfriend's family for sabotaging their relationship. So he hired a hitman to kill them. As Black Lives Matter protests swept the country last year, Slater thought it would be a good idea to have the hitman spray paint Black Lives Matter at the scene of the crime to throw police off. Slater thought he had found the right person to carry out the job, but the associate he hired turned out to be an undercover FBI agent. Slater could serve up to 10 years in prison. Lord, I mean, do we just blame Black Lives Matter for everything, man?
Everything. Everything. I don't have anything to add, Roland.
I mean,
Literally
at this point, is Black Lives Matter responsible for killing the Haitian president? I mean, this is how these folks are operating, Mustafa. It's crazy.
I mean, we got a long history of folks blaming black folks when they do wrong. You know, it's amazing. You go back to Emmett Till, way before Emmett Till, you know, to the Central Park 5. You can be a black birder in Central Park, and white folks will make something up. So this is a reoccurring theme because we are always the fall guy. Because then people say, well, maybe, you know, even if it's completely ridiculous. So, you know, that's why, you know, we got to always make sure there's real strong analysis when folks are accusing folks of certain things. And then sometimes it's just such foolery that that you just gotta shake your head, but you gotta stay engaged because we got way too many folks inside of prisons and jails for crimes that they didn't do. And this is just a part of that narrative.
It's unbelievable what you have. Of course, we got a long history, Teresa, of white folks pinning their stuff on black folks. You had, of course, Stewart in Boston. You had, remember the crazy white woman who drowned the kids in South Carolina and said it was a black man trying to carjack her? I mean, again, that's what happens. All right, blame the black person.
Yeah, because, you know, we were, again, if we want to kind of compare it to critical race theory, we're seen as the one who's defenseless and poor and, you know, feel like that we don't have any defense. And our defense is a rookie out of law school. So, yes, it is easy to blame somebody who doesn't have the advantage that another population has, white people in America. So unfortunately, there are still thousands of those who are wrongfully incarcerated, and they're coming out daily because of the false accusal that has led them into prison. And now these people are coming back getting their just due. And it's on the behest of taxpayers. So taxpayers are not only paying to keep them in, they're also paying upon their release. And I do believe it is the fault of individuals who choose not to follow the law and hold themselves accountable.
And I surely hope he has to meet the Black Lives Matter chapter in prison. All right, y'all. Yesterday, we told you about these fraudulent Cash App accounts. Folks, we have them right here. You have, of course, these are fake accounts. These people have been stealing money from our fan base. I've had several people who have tweeted me today who actually gave to one of these accounts. So our actual Cash App, folks, is $RM Unfiltered. So what they did is they put our Cash App in their name, but when you give, it's really the one that's on the bottom. So $RMUNF, fake. RMUNFI, fake. RMUNFIL, fake. RMUNFILTERE, fake. Now, I have been emailing, corresponding with Cash App, with Square. They have not moved expeditiously. These accounts are, as we speak, I'm gonna check right now, they are still active. And I don't understand what the hell the problem is, why they can't shut them down. A lot of people have been reaching out to me, complaining about it. And in fact, they're using And in fact, again, 3 of these are using our actual logo. And so that's what is going on here for some reason. I don't know why they haven't moved them at all. And so until further notice, we're not promoting Cash App. We're not using it. We're not giving that out. If y'all want to support us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered, you can safely contribute to us on Zelle. Use Roland at RolandSMartin.com or Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You have Venmo, which is RM Unfiltered, but you also have PayPal, which is R Martin Unfiltered. Again, PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, there are 2 emails you can use, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. If y'all want to support what we do here on the show, please contribute in that way. All right, y'all, coming up next, our marketplace by Nextdoor. We'll talk with a black entrepreneur about his business and how Nextdoor is expanding the opportunities. That is next, right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
White supremacy ain't just about hurting black folk.
Right.
You got to deal with it. It's injustice. It's wrong.
I do feel like in this generation, we've got to do more around being intentional and resolving conflict.
You and I haven't always agreed.
Yeah.
But we agree on the big piece.
Yeah.
Our conflict is not about destruction.
Conflict's going to happen.
Before Till's murder, we saw struggle for civil rights as something grown-ups did.
I feel that the generations before us have offered a lot of instruction. Organizing is really one of the only things that gives me the sanity and makes me feel purposeful.
When Emmett Till was murdered,
yeah,
that's what attracted our attention.
Hi, I'm Kim Burrell.
Hi, I'm Carl Payne.
Hey, everybody, this is Sherry Shepherd. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, Kids Cubed is on a mission to introduce youth to science through hands-on learning and fun. In the communities of color, kids seldom have access to resources required for science experiments and educational tools such as the internet or computer access. Ahmed Muhammad, creator of Kids Cubed, wants to make science both fun and affordable. He is one of the business owners who is on the app Nextdoor, and he joins us right now in our marketplace segment, sponsored by Nextdoor. Their purpose is to cultivate a kinder world where neighbors can rely on one another, where all feel welcome. All right, then, Ahmed. So first of all, when did you start this business?
What's up, Mr. Martin? I started Kids Cubed April of 2020. That's when I was babysitting my younger niece and nephew when they told me that they hated science. So when they told me that, I went to my room and I designed experiments for us to do with stuff we could find around the house. Like we made a potato battery, a sundial. We did experiments with leaves from the trees in the backyard. And they loved the experiments, and the joy that they felt is what I wanted to share with other children like them, other children in my community. And that's how Kids Cube got started.
So obviously we were in the middle of the pandemic, and so you had lots of time at home, and they had lots of free time as well.
Yes, that's very true. Going online, the schools and teachers were still shuffling, trying to figure things out. So that left a lot of free time to explore other avenues, other interests. And for me, that was starting a company.
And so how do you then begin to assemble the kits? I mean, are they all prefabricated? You do them individually? And then how did you then begin to build the business?
So for me at first, it was just like buying. So I designed the experiments and I'd buy all the materials from like suppliers. And then I would actually like put them together myself, like in my room. Like I would just tear up my room, or downstairs I would have my mom or my sister help me, and the house was just a mess. But we would just put together these experiments, and in each experiment, each kit has 3 experiments and has all the materials that students need to actually conduct the experiments, and it has instruction manuals that we designed also. And I went on Nextdoor, actually. Nextdoor was the first platform that I used to get the word out there. I would just go in my neighborhood and sell these kits, and I sold more. I was able to purchase more materials to make more kits and give them out to other children. And I was just keep building on top of that, and I was able to hire more and more people. It's been a steady growth since.
So are you giving the kits away, or are you selling the kits?
A little bit of both. So the idea behind Kids Cubed is that the students and families who can afford to buy the science kits do buy the science kits. And then the money that we generate from that and from donations and from grants, since we're a nonprofit, that goes towards bringing science kits to schools and students who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford them.
So it's April 2020.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about 15 months or so. And so how many kits have you sold, and what do they cost?
So each kit costs $15 on our website. I think one of them, like our newest one, the Model Lung, is only $10. But for the most part, they're all $15 with 3 experiments in them, hence the name Kids Cubed. And we've sold thousands of these on the website, and we've distributed tens of thousands across the country.
Really?
Yes.
Because you talked about your house being a mess, so how are y'all doing it now? Are you? Obviously, you probably had to move production out of the house, otherwise your folks were going to go crazy.
Oh, my mom was already going crazy with it, but we have a warehouse, like a little office space, because since we're a nonprofit, we're actually fiscally sponsored by a larger nonprofit called Seneca Family of Agencies, and they put us up with an office space and a warehouse, which we're carrying out all of our operations as of right now.
And so, in addition to the kits, you also have merchandise as well.
Wearing one right now.
All right, got your T-shirts there. And so, how have you used the app Nextdoor to build your business? I joined Nextdoor a few months ago, and really, for folks, it's a social media app which allows for you to actually connect with your neighbors, folks who literally are all around you. And so, how have you used the app to actually build out your business?
Right. So when I first came up with the idea of Kids Cubed and wanted people to know about it, Nextdoor was the first platform I went to share that idea, because I felt like the people who I could most easily get to were my neighbors, and I'd never actually really connected with my neighbors like that before. So I went to Nextdoor and I put out the whole idea of Kids Cubed. I linked their website and what I was trying to do, and I just blasted it to all the neighborhoods in Oakland, California, and people just started reaching out that way. They reached out through Nextdoor, through email, or by phone, and it was just a really great platform to connect me with other people who I wouldn't otherwise not known or talked to.
So you were so starting the business as opposed to you trying to figure it out. You said, hey, let me connect with where I am. And so when you started letting the neighbors know around you, how did it spread? How did it spread beyond that?
Well, then, I posted on Nextdoor, and then so different neighborhoods, different communities are talking about it, and then it spread a lot. Like, they're reposting it on Nextdoor, or it's a lot of word that people just saying it to their families or to their other friends. A lot of word to mouth information spread. So I guess that was a lot of it. And then also with Nextdoor, Nextdoor helped spread the word initially, and then we were able to get media people on it. So Kids Cube was then in the news. We've been across different news stations, both locally and nationally. And I say it all started with Nextdoor. That was the first platform. And see, that's the thing that I'm always trying to explain to people. You have to take advantage of your existing networks. Whether you're talking about organizations, whether you're talking about your church groups or whatever. And a lot of people make this, I think, they go, well, I don't know anybody, when the reality is, if you use social media in a smart way,
it allows for you to be able to build it. And for you, by starting with your neighbors, by connecting them through Nextdoor, you could actually talk to them. You can correspond with them. You can actually hand deliver these kits, if you will. And then as it begins to build and expand, essentially word of mouth allows you to actually to get bigger.
Yep. And, I wanted Kids Cube to be a really community-based organization. So what better place than to start in my neighborhood? And that Nextdoor was perfect for that.
Questions from our panelists. Teresa, I'll start with you.
Hi. Well, one, congratulations. I think you are opening the door to many are looking up to the product. What advice do you have for to all others who want to go to Stanford?
A lot of people have asked me for advice, but I haven't found out the best way to put it, really what to say. But I would say my advice, if you're trying to go to Stanford, like how I am in the fall, or if you're trying to start your own company, I would say really just what's required of you is just putting in the work each and every single day and drawing in on your community and on your talents and trying to learn from as many places and people as possible. I think what allowed me to accomplish some of the things that I've been able to accomplish so far is really just learning from all of the people around me. So if I had any one piece of advice, I would say to be a sponge and to absorb as much as you can and then apply it as well.
All right. Mustafa.
Yeah, Brother Muhammad, congratulations. I can imagine the thousands of kids who are going to go into STEM because of what you're doing. My question for you would be, over the next, year or 2 years, where do you see your business going?
Oh, that's a good question. We definitely have some plans for it, but I would say our most immediate next step is we have a project where we're going to be donating 10,000 science kits to students in Oakland. So that's going to take some time. That's going to definitely be a lot of our next focus. And we're just going to keep looking for ways to expand. One of the ways to expand is by increasing the types of kits that we have out there. So that way students are able to learn about all aspects of science, more than just the 4 kits that we have right now. Another way is to impact students with science, but through ways that aren't just science kits. Because the science kits are fun, they're cool, but there's other ways you can tap into students. We just finished running a summer camp at the West Oakland Youth Center. It was about 60 kids. It was a week-long summer camp, and the kids loved that in-person experience with a teacher and demos that they wouldn't get to try at home. So also expanding that into after-school programs or more summer programs in the next year or two, and just keep building our team and keep putting science into as many students as we possibly can.
Ben, your question for Entrepreneur Muhammad.
Congratulations, first of all, young brother. It's amazing what you've accomplished, and we should celebrate you for that. I'm curious, when you came up with the idea, where did you go to get the ideas and the schematics and just the entire framework for what you built? And then tell us how we can support what you're doing. Okay.
So it was definitely, I went a lot online and researched a lot because there's so many resources out there. Talk to my parents. My parents are involved with business. Talk to different teachers who could give me advice on the actual educational side of the kits. Talk to different wholesale suppliers who actually supply educational materials for other similar organizations. So I would say it goes back to what I was saying earlier with my advice on just trying to absorb from as many places as possible. So I couldn't really point out one single place. It was just a lot of mentors and a lot of teachers around me who were able to support me and this idea and this project. And I would say to support Kids Cubed, obviously one of the best ways to support us is by sharing our website, sharing our organization, www.kidscubed.com. KITSCUBED.com. And we're a nonprofit. We accept donations, tax-deductible donations. So every single dollar that comes through Kids Cubed is going towards providing a science kit for a student who can't afford it. So I would say those are some ways you can support us. And just following our journey, following us on Instagram at Kids Cubed, just being there for us.
You talked about thousands of videos, thousands of kits you sold. So, what 5 years from now, where do you see Kids Cubed?
Ooh, 5 years from now, I see kids. We're based in Oakland right now, but I see it spread all across the country. Like, we've sent kits across the country, but I want us to have a chapter in every state. And we're really, really bringing science kits to all the communities that need them, and then expanding past just the United States, globally too. Like I said, we don't want to stop until every single child has had the opportunity to explore science, because we're lacking science resources. So in 5 years, I want to see millions of kids with our science kits.
And I didn't ask this. You started again in the house, but how many people do you have working with you on this? How many people now working with the nonprofit?
I want to say I have 15 employees officially on payroll, and then many, many more volunteers. I'd say upwards of 30 or 40 volunteers. So it's a lot. Like I said, it's a lot of people backing this mission to bring science kits to the community. And it's important to note, this is all youth-led. So everybody on my team is an Oakland teenager or a Bay Area teenager who either just graduated like I did, like they might be first or second year college, or they're still in high school. So it's really, our mission is to introduce youth to the wonders of science through fun, affordable, and accessible means. And we also want to do that from a youth lens.
All right, then. Mohammed, we surely appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Again, folks, you can go to his website. It is KITSCubed, KITSCUBED.com. And we surely appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
All right, then. And folks, if you want more about the app Nextdoor, check this out.
One of the most stressful days of my life was when this one got out. I chased after her as best I could, kind of fell over and broke my wheelchair. I was able to get back home and make a post. Within about 5 or so minutes, I had 3 or 4 different people coming to the rescue. One woman stopped traffic, just drove her right back to the house for me. It was a very emotional day.
Over a period of 10 years, my neighborhood went from being almost 98% black to being 98% white. So all of a sudden, oh God, I'm the suspicious-looking black man. I posted on Nextdoor that I no longer felt comfortable walking in this neighborhood. The response I got was hundreds and hundreds of neighbors offering to walk with me. This experience moved me and changed the way I saw humanity.
At Nextdoor, we come to work every day to help cultivate a kinder world. We want to make sure that everyone has a neighborhood to rely on.
When we started this company, we felt that technology had an important role to play in bringing communities and neighbors together. We knew that having the support of your neighbors was critical.
When I found out I was becoming a father, I panicked. What am I gonna feed this kid? I posted, hey, any other gardeners who might have extra soil, seeds, equipment, and they came up from everywhere.
As human beings, we want a sense of safety and anything that gives us that sense of connection.
You drive through a neighborhood and you see houses and bricks, but really what you have is people, business owners and entrepreneurs.
We know that the locals are what keep our restaurant going. When somebody says that they enjoy our restaurant, it brings us business.
It's been really cool being able to cheer on your neighbors as they open up the next coffee shop.
When Hurricane Harvey first hit Houston, I realized that Nextdoor was much more than just a day-to-day utility. It was a lifeline to the community.
The neighbors have been using that Nextdoor app to coordinate evacuations.
When the pandemic started, people did have the urge to help, but often they didn't know who to help or how. Our Nextdoor group took off explosively. Just after a year, we had over 1,000 members.
Nextdoor evokes a sense of pride in your neighborhood, and we know that people globally are craving for that.
We posted our music video on the Nextdoor app. A lot of people in the area liked it.
And people are beautiful. Let's go to the beautiful. Keep them rhythm for the vibes we got. Stay on the drums.
I think the video meant a lot to our neighbors because it portrays the Cascade area in a positive lighting.
At the end of the day, this is a business model about people and neighborhoods and communities. Wouldn't it be beautiful to connect Wall Street to Main Street and to do well and do good at the same time?
It's going to be the legacy of 2020 that Nextdoor put neighbors together for a cause and then forever.
Thank you very much.
It often starts online, but we know that it continues into the real world, and that is the superpower of Nextdoor.
All right, folks, all you got to do is go to the Google Play Store or go to the iOS store to download the app. Coming up next, time to go lay down. We'll talk with the sister who started this whole go lay down movement. That's next on Roland Martin Unfiltered.
When you study the music, you get Black history by default. And so no other craft could carry as many words as rap music.
I try to intertwine that and make that create whatever I'm supposed to send out to the universe.
A rapper, for the longest period of time has gone through phases.
I love the word. I hate what it's become, and to this generation, the way they visualize it.
Its narrative kind of like has gotten away and spun away from, I guess, the ascension of Black people.
Black women have always been essential. So now how are you gonna pay us like that?
And it's not just the salary. I mean, there are a whole number of issues that have to support us as women.
Yeah, but that's what we deserve. That we shouldn't have to beg anybody for that. And I think that we are trying to do our best as a generation to honor the fact that we didn't come here alone and we didn't come here by accident.
I always say every generation has to define for itself what it means to move the needle forward.
I'm Deion Cole, and you're watching
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Stay woke.
All right, folks, yesterday I played at the end of the show this TikTok video that just went all over the place, and you can see it on TikTok and Instagram. It's all on YouTube, whatever. And this is what started this whole thing. Watch this.
I'm about to go lay down. Yeah. Go lay down. Go. Lay down. I'm about to go lay down. I'm about to go lay down. Look at your neighbor, say, go lay down. Go lay down. Yeah. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Hey, go lay down. Go lay down.
Now, I told y'all that just led to a whole bunch of other people doing the videos. There's a 20-minute compilation on YouTube of just different people with their own variations. Some folk putting music to it. Others, there's even one where the singer, Major, out of Houston, he even decided to get in on his go lay down thing.
I'm about to go lay down. Yeah.
Go lay down.
Hallelujah.
Y'all know, of course, Keith David owns Greenleaf. Y'all may not realize my man has been a long time being a big time singer. Even he had to do a little something, something.
I'm about to go lay down.
Yeah, yeah.
Go lay down. Go lay down.
I'm about to go lay down.
Yeah.
I'm about to
Go lay down.
Look at your neighbor and say, go
lay down.
Go
lay down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go lay down. Go lay down.
Go lay down. Yeah, go lay down.
All right, joining us from Gary, Indiana is the sister who started this whole thing and got this song stuck in folks' head. Is it NaJe or Naja? Okay, you on mute. All right. Can't hear you. I can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you. All right. So do this here. Are you on an iPad or a phone? What you do is disconnect your earbuds and just talk through the phone or the iPad. So go to your settings to turn your Bluetooth off. Nope, can't hear you. That means your Bluetooth is still connected. So go to your click your settings, turn Bluetooth off, and then I should be able to hear you. All right, we'll wait for that to happen here. Okay, still cannot hear her. So let's do this here. I'm going to play it. Are you there now? No, still not there. All right, we're going to go to a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to fix our audio. We'll be back on Roland Unfiltered.
Black women have always been essential. So now how are you going to pay us like that?
And it's not just the salary. I mean, there are a whole number of issues that have to support us as women.
Yeah, but that's what we deserve. That we shouldn't have to beg anybody for that. And I think that we are trying to do our best as a generation to honor the fact that we didn't come here alone and we didn't come here by accident.
I always say every generation has to define for itself what it means to move the needle forward.
I'm in the world of fiction. That's what I do. I'm an actress. I spent 35 years in this business. I've been in the business since I was 14. I was discovered in a basement theater in Philadelphia, a basement called Freedom Theater. And that's what I do. I play for a living. And I look and see that we're in a world that, that it's bizarre where you can't tell the fake from the real. These people are not faking it. That's what they're going to, they're willing to put their whole lives, their families' lives, everything they've accomplished around looking pathetic and weak around a table because this man showed up and told them that, that he was the one and everybody should follow him. He didn't even have a good argument. He's not Martin Luther King. He has no words, he has nothing. He's just rich and white and male. And so people want to see that power on display and then tell us that we're not, you know, that we're crazy, they can't do it anymore.
Hey, what's up? This is Marlon Wayans. No, it's not Keenan. No, or as some of y'all say, Clignon. No, it's not Damien. It's really, it's not Damien, because I do not have a bald head. It's one of the Wayans. It's not Winans, because they have been coming up.
All right, folks, now we're back. Naja, you there?
I'm here.
All right, there you go. All right, first of all, so how did this thing start? How did this thing start? Were you literally about to lay down and just say, let me just go ahead and sing myself to sleep?
Real life, I had just got off work, worked 14 hours, came in, got on the couch, and I'm like, real talk, I'm sleepy. So when I get sleepy, like it's giggle time. You know what I mean? Like this is me on a regular, and that's how it popped off. I always sing before I do anything. I can't help it. It gets me through the day. So
you got the blanket up to your neck. You say, I'm about to go ahead and take a sleep. I'm about to go to sleep. So let me just go and record this video. And then it explodes. Now, first of all, you dropped it when? In May?
Yes, May 3rd is when I did it. May 3rd, that morning, actually.
And then, okay, how did it build? Did the next morning, all of a sudden, did it explode overnight? Or was it sort of there's this gradual build?
So when I dropped it May 3rd, me thinking nothing of it, I'm like, all right, I'm finna lay down. Well, when I got up, my phone was like, ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what's happening? I look, and there's like people just sharing the video. By the time I woke up, I think I was over like 2,000 to 3,000 views. And they were already at probably like 100 shares. And so it died down for a minute. Then all of a sudden it shot back up again. I'm like, boy, my stomach bubbling. Like, what is happening? Like, it was ridiculous. So then after that, BB Dope duetted the video. It went from BB Dope to Beauty by Arlisha to thousands of people. Major, Gabrielle Union, Keith David, and by that time I was real faintish.
Okay, so that was May, and then all of a sudden, we go to June, now we in July. Now, so when did it start where other people started saying, well, what the hell, I'm gonna do a duet?
It started once BB Dope, so probably around, I say May into the beginning of June, people were already duetting. Because when I dropped the TikTok, I put duet me. So people started just randomly doing it. And then all of a sudden it just escalated, and I wasn't expecting it to go this far. I really wasn't expecting nothing of it because it's my everyday. This is every day.
Okay, now, was it supposed to be a gospel song? Or was that just you just sitting there playing around and then folks said, let's just take it to church?
Yeah, it was never meant to be a gospel song. I just used a basic gospel theme to sing it because I'm churchy. Like, I can't help it. I'm churchy. So I was just like, you know what? I'm about to go lay down. And that's how it came out, and that's what I posted.
And then, of course, it got to, folks start adding organs. They started doing other things. I still say the most hilarious one to me, if y'all got the smoking preacher queued up, y'all, this is probably the most hilarious one to me right here. If y'all got it queued up, let me know. Okay, y'all ain't got it queued up, that's fine. I got it queued up. This is I'm talking about where I just said he ignorant. Y'all go to my computer.
Hallelujah. Blessed be the name of our Lord and Savior. Go lay down, go lay down. Lay down. It's getting late in the evening. I know the sun is going. If you have your Bibles, turn with me to Ecclesiastes 4:9. When you turn it over to him, you know you can just lay on down and just rest. Watch out there now. And the Bible reads, if you have it, read it from the King James. Lay down.
Down, get on down.
Get down, get down. Yeah.
I'm about to go.
Oh my man, just that I'm telling you, I hollered when I saw it last week, probably Thursday, on Sanaa Lathan's page on Instagram, and I was like, what? And then when I entered it, I saw all these renditions. I was just crying laughing. So out of all the ones that you've seen, what's your favorite?
Oh, So there's one with this guy with an alcohol bottle. And he's like 3 different people. And it's the funniest thing. It's him, and then there's a girl who does one saying after she smoked her 10th blunt.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Listen, it's on my Instagram. I will shoot it to you guys. It is hilarious. She grabs all of these bags of chips and everything, and she's like, I'm about to go lay down with the bags of chips after she just smoked her blunts, and I fell out like hollering.
Okay,
real life.
I have not seen that one. Now what I did see was when a producer decided to drop a beat and remix your voice, and this is what he put out.
Ooh, lay down, let us go lay down. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Lay down, yeah. Go lay down. Lay down, yeah. I'm about to go lay down, Lay down, oh. 'Cause I'm feeling tired. Been working all day and day. Go lay down.
Now, Naja, I want to hear the rest of that song. That producer, his name is Jeremy, is from Connecticut. He joins us right now on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How you doing today?
So when you heard her sing the song, how long did it take you to say, man, I need to put something together?
It was actually my fiance's idea. She was scrolling down the timeline, and she said, babe, you should sing for this. So I'm like, that's a good idea. 10 minutes later, I had the chords laid out, and that's pretty much all she wrote.
So you put that beat together in 10 minutes?
Pretty much, for the most part, yes.
Now, Naja, so when you heard his version, what was your response?
So when I heard his version, I honestly, people had been flooding my DM, and I was trying to get to it, and I finally saw it, and I said, oh, homeboy, real hip-hop-ish. He's real hip-hop-ish. Like, this is going to be amazing. So we actually...
Come on, guys, switch.
Actually reached out to him, and we're supposed to coordinate and get together and do some work.
So the singer who was in there is T-Dash. He's actually an R&B soul singer out of Houston. Folks, do we have T-Dash? All right, y'all, come on. So we're calling T-Dash right now. So I want to pull in my panel here. We got Ben, Teresa, and Mustafa. Have any of y'all come across these go lay down videos? Ben, had you seen any of these?
And I saw it, but I hadn't listened to it until just now. And sis, let me just say, you more than churchy. you got some anointment over there with that, the progressions and the runs and the minors and the augmenteds that you had in that run at the end. Salute, sis. That is a beautiful thing. And to the brother with the music, I just love seeing how many talented Black people just everywhere we look. We're just exuding talent. So God bless y'all.
How about you, Mustafa?
I hadn't seen straight fire. It's like, wow, this is amazing. And it also reminded me of my grandmother used to say, go lay down all the time. So I could definitely connect. Y'all are so incredibly blessed. And thank you, for touching people's spirit with that and a sense of community where folks can come in and continue to build. So thank you so much.
Well, Jeremy, you said that you had been, waiting for a moment. I mean, first of all, what type of music have you been producing, and what has all of this actually led to?
Well, I've been making music for a long time, like 14 years, and I haven't had any traction really. But this past week, I gained 13,000 followers on my TikTok from that video alone. So, I'm thankful to NaJe for that. Appreciate the inspiration. Thanks to everybody following me. Much love.
So you said you said you've been trying to make a go of it. One of the folks who heard he heard Naja, he heard your beat, then he put together that version is T-Dash out of Houston, and he joins us right now. So go ahead and bring him in. And so T-Dash, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
I'm doing great. So have you at any point, all of this, before I ask that question, what were you doing when you heard Naja sing Go Lay Down, then when you heard Jeremy's beat, then you said, I got to go to work?
Yeah. So, I had been heard Nigel, you said Nigel's, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I had been heard hers, and I seen other people kind of do the gospel rendition of it. And then when my man's put that beat to it, I was like, wait, man. Hey, this sounding too funky right here, man. I got to do something to it, man. I got to do something to it, And I was outside playing basketball, man, with the kids. And I just said, man, let me go and rock this out right quick, man. And that's what I did.
Naja, you got anything to say? Have you actually even communicated with T-Dash or Jeremy?
No, this is actually my first time seeing him besides the video. So it's really nice to meet you, homeboy.
Yes. Same to you.
All right. So the three of y'all, any question y'all have on one another?
I'm just trying to see if y'all ready to work. We got some work to do.
Hey, as soon as y'all make it happen, I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay, so now Jeremy, you the producer, they singers. What y'all gonna do?
So the
vision, we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make a hit.
The vision that I have is we're gonna make a hit. We are gonna collab with multiple people. We're gonna show love to everybody's city because everybody's city has shown love to us with the Go Lay Down. So my vision is to show love to every city because every city rocking with Go Lay Down.
Well, that is the case. But you do have different versions there. Like there's some songs where they have several different versions, on an album. But I gotta say that T-Dash Jeremy one, that's a little funky there. It's different from the church version. But that thing, because I'm telling you, when I heard it, I literally hit T-Dash on Instagram and said, yo, where the rest of it?
Yeah, he did. And all I could say was, hey, man, I just wanted to be a part of it. It was sounding real good, man. I'm glad they did it, man. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. And I see everybody's asking for more of it. I'm like, hey, man, I can't do it on my own. It's going to have to be up to them, if they want to do it. So, hey, like the song say, let's lay it down.
So Naja or T-Dash or Jeremy, have any record labels talked to y'all? Have y'all heard from anybody? And have y'all been communicating on social about doing something? Because so how are you going to take it to the next step?
So I've had a lot of DMs and actually emails sent from certain record companies, which was pretty funny. But right now, again, my vision is to gather the people. When I did Go Lay Down, it wasn't for putting out content or any of that sort. I love to sing. I love to make music. And I love the fact that there are so many people around the world joining in to push it and have fun with it and show love with it. I've been reaching out to some other people. I did reach out to J Random, the producer. And we are supposed to talk again so we can get things started. Beauty by Arlisha, who also was a part of it. The Real T Dash, who also was a part of it. And if you get a chance, MJ Hanks put out something early this morning, and I lost my mind because it was amazing. So we are definitely going to collect.
You said MJ Hanks?
MJ Hanks.
Put it out where? On Instagram or TikTok?
He put it out on TikTok, and I put it out on Instagram.
Okay.
It's MJHANKSS on Instagram. And homie did it. Like, it was amazing. And I'm trying to post everybody's thing and show what everybody's done. We've had poets. We have Ty Cage out of Detroit, who's a female rapper. Like, all of these people are showing love. And so my plan is to rock with the people.
All right. Well, so while we're here, T-Dash, tell folks about your new music, where they can go check it out.
Yeah, so the Real T-Dash, that's on IG, TikTok, Twitter, and I have a new video that's out, one of my singles called Side Chick. That's on YouTube and everything, so y'all make sure y'all go follow me on the YouTube, which is The Official T-Dash. Go check that video out. I also have my country single out, which is called I Want It All. That's also on YouTube with the video as well. So I have 4 singles that are currently out. One is called Love Train featuring Paul Wall. The other one is called Beautiful, Uplifting for the Women. And like I said, Side Chick, and my country single called I Want It All. So please go check those things out, man. And let me know what y'all think.
Jeremy? What you got cooking?
Everybody, you can follow me on Instagram at j.random.producer, TikTok at j.random.producer. Right now, I'm just working, trying to inspire people, trying to make the best music possible and connect with people like minds and creatives.
All right, then. Well, Naja, because you're in Gary, Indiana, correct?
At this moment, I'm in Texarkana, Texas.
Texarkana. Okay, is that where you're based?
I'm in Texarkana.
Okay.
Shout out to Texarkana.
So you in Texarkana. T-Dash, he's there in H-Town. And Jeremy, you're Connecticut, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, then. Well, look, y'all let me know what happens with this collaboration. We'd love to check it out. Y'all keep putting it out there, and it's crazy how just more versions keep coming out. And this is what NaJe posted on her Instagram. Check it out.
Yeah. Go lay down. Go. Lay down. I'm about to go lay down. I'm about to go lay down. Look at your neighbor and say, go lay down. Go. Yeah.
Oh, not after she smoked the 10th blunt. Okay, that was too funny there. And when you were talking about, when you talking about the other video of the brother who put the rapid video out, I did see this earlier. I did see it. So let me go ahead and play it, y'all. So check this out.
Hope you don't mind me jumping on this beat real quick.
Yeah.
Too good to pass up. Just want to try something a little new this time, so. something to say with it.
Lay down. I'm about to go lay down.
I'm better, go lay down, cause it's been a whole day. Got me walking out of work like, yeah. I'ma turn off this track, let that Spotify play. Driving down the I-5 like, get out of my way. Why is life like a never-ending test, man? I've been studying so hard, but I don't get it, man. Multiple choice, but I check C on everything. I need to clear my head, hope I do it while I'm resting.
Everybody trying to get a little something as a part of this. And so, again, this thing is has gotten real popular. Folks, we appreciate it. Certainly good luck. Naja, thanks for creating that. And how many views is it up to now?
We are at, I believe it's over 5.8 million.
That's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. Well, you created it, and T-Dash added he added his special sauce to it. Jeremy his special sauce, and so y'all let me know when the different singles drop so we can premiere it here in Roland Martin Unfiltered.
And make sure you guys go check out the website. We're gonna have the website dropping, and we're gonna have Go Lay Down merch for everybody.
Of course. All right, we'll be looking for it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, folks. That is it for us. Folks, this is why we love doing what we do. Y'all please support us here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. Y'all can provide us, again, every dollar you give goes to support this show, allows us to be able to do what we do. Want to thank folks who have supported us via PayPal, which is paypal.me/R-Martin-Unfiltered, Venmo.com/RM-Unfiltered, Zelle is Roland@RolandSMartin.com, Roland@RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And as I made it perfectly clear, we are not going to be giving out our Cash App until the folks at Square who own Cash App, until they get rid of those fraudulent accounts. They are still active, and I've made it clear they should repay people their money who got swindled by these scammers. And so pull the graphic up if you got it over there. These are these fake Cash App. They're scammers, they are frauds, they're crooks, and we purposely are calling them out. And so please, we want you to do the same. So if y'all have the graphic over there, please pull it up. If not, I'll go ahead and pull it up right now. These are those fake accounts right here. $RMUNF, fake, it's fraud, it's a scam. $RMUNFI, fake, fraud, scam. $RMUNFIL, fake, fraud, scam. $RMUNFILTERE, fake, scam. So we are not going to be giving our Cash App. We're not using them at all until they get rid of until they shut these accounts down. And I just checked, they are still up. And I have emailed senior executives at Square. Jack Dorsey, you're the CEO of Square and Twitter. I've hit you on Twitter. I've hit you on Instagram. You need to respond. I've also hit Lauren Weinberg. She's the head of global communications and marketing for Square, which owns Cash App. I've hit her on Twitter and hit her on Twitter. Have not heard back. I've hit other Square executives on LinkedIn as well. And I've made it clear I want these fake accounts shut down, and people who have given money, that money should be returned to them expeditiously. And so, but the first thing is shut these accounts down. They're using our likeness and image to steal money from our people, and that is foul and it is wrong. Folks, right now, with the voting town hall from the National Coalition of Black Civic Participation happening as we speak. So we're about to sign off. Y'all can check that out. We're streaming that right now as well on Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hi!